Yo, it is me, Noah, back bringing you another photography video. First things first, a couple housekeeping things. The most obvious thing is that we are in a new location. I've decided that I wanted to set this area up as my studio. This is just a more permanent solution to what I had going on where I was previously shooting, which was in my basement. Now I'm in my guest bedroom. And this is as bare bones as it gets. And of course, as I develop and as I get new equipment, I want to showcase to you guys how I'm getting the look that I'm getting. So I'm gonna break the illusion real quick. So this is where I stand. There's my tripod. I just have this ring light that is above me and angled downwards. And I have this RGB floodlight propped up on this chair. And all things considered, I think this setup looks pretty good. But again, as we grow, I get new equipment. I have plans for this space, starting with sort of filling in this empty space on the wall behind me. I'm thinking shelves to hold my gear, more lights, ambiance, mood, vibes, that kind of stuff. And our second little order of housekeeping is that I am actually still a little bit sick. We're just about to get into the topic at hand, which was Gen Con, which I had a blast at. But at conventions, lots of people, I just got a little bit of that con COVID. So just bear with me, my voice is a little out of it, but I still wanted to make sure I got this video out to you guys in a timely manner. So let's get into it. Gen Con 2024. If you're unfamiliar, Gen Con is one of the biggest board game conventions in the United States. And fun fact about me is that I love board games and tabletop RPGs. Even one of the older projects on this channel you'll be able to find is called Enter the Gungeon, which is a Cthulhu RPG one-shot that I did with a couple friends. Maybe Exit the Gungeon coming soon. But of course, it is not just a place for people to go and play games, but it's also a place where cosplayers can go and show off their cosplay. So I figured, I'm gonna take all my gear, I'm gonna get some cool video, and of course I'm gonna get some cool pictures. And on my own terms, I succeeded. Now as we start breaking down these photos, I want everybody to remember that this is all up to style interpretation. This is all up to personal preference. Some of these pictures, a different photographer would never take this way. Stuff that has been done for a while, especially something like cosplay photography, that is a pretty simple point and click. I just wanted to do something a little bit different with, especially in this environment. But speaking of environment, Gen Con was awesome. This is my second year that I've been able to go, and it is just so much fun. There's thousands of people, and everybody is just a big, huge nerd. There are hundreds and hundreds of vendors selling their indie board games. There are big name AAA board games, and just dozens of artists who have come to sell their nerdy crafts and goods and art pieces. There's just this really rad sense of community, and there's always that constant temptation to add to your dice collection. But this is the first shot that I got. Now, super simple. This is just a shot of the crowd as they were getting ready to enter the exhibition hall. Now, this was not the opening day, this was the second morning, but there was still probably a good 10,000 people spread throughout this hallway. And truly, just watching this flood of people enter through this one doorway, I mean, it's just nuts. I wanted to capture that crowd, not just because it's a cool picture, but it's capturing a memory, and that's what photography is. It's capturing moments, and in that moment, I just thought, oh my God, look at all these people. And I probably got sick from one of them. That's all right, I'm okay. I'm not holding any grudges. But moving on to our next picture, this is one of the first cosplay shots I got. It is Deadpool. It's great. I mean, it's a great Deadpool cosplay. This person, they absolutely nailed the mannerisms and they got the energy down. I love this picture and their pose. This one is sort of a reference to the Deadpool 2 movie where they have the trainee vest on, which honestly gave me more opportunity to play with in post with color correction and editing. Now for this one, I already had that nice blurred background because I was shooting at a lower aperture, so I didn't really have to do any work on that, which gave me the opportunity to really play with the colors. The only thing I did with the background was darkening it down a bit, so that way I could go into the subject and brighten them up, which creates a nice disconnect between them and the background, even more so than the blurring effect. And then I had to play with those colors a little bit. So I darkened the red a little bit, I pulled the yellow up a little bit, and I think final product wise, just everything about this one comes together. The pose is excellent, I really like the way the colors turned out, and this is a pretty standard con photo. So for a first attempt, I'm not too upset about that. Okay, and we're immediately gonna get into what is probably my favorite picture from the entire weekend. And I mean, just take a look. Is the freaking Lord of the Nazgul. I mean, first of all, the fit is on point. And honestly, the edit really came out on this one. So again, you can obviously see that I really toned down that background to the point where it's almost darkness. And then I really brightened up our subject. I increased the sharpness, the texture, the clarity, all in an effect to get this sort of disconnect mimicking the original film style, and also just play to the character. So I shrouded them in this darkness around them, but then I really made them stand out. Now, I'm not going to show the raw on this one, but I did want to show you the comparison between the subject and background work and the rest of the color correction of the image. And they look like this. Again, it's just like a night and day difference. The way the subject pops in the second image and really creates a sense of, ooh, I don't really want to be around that guy. It hits that center in your brain that does say, ooh, that's unsettling. That's not supposed to look like that. That's not what things look like in real life. And that plays to the character. And that is what I'm trying to invoke because this is a scary character. So yeah, I absolutely love that one. So this next one, I don't know. I don't know who this character is. But this guy looked really sweet and I really liked his little orb. And it wasn't putting out that much light, but I wanted to see what I could do. So as soon as I saw him, even though I didn't know who this character was, I had an idea for the shot that I wanted. So I took a really, really dark shot and I focused in on that orb. So if you look at his face, you can see his face is out of focus. It's a little bit grainy, but I really wanted to make sure I got that orb in the focal point and I didn't get much of his face. That is so I could go in post and create this artificial lighting effect. So pretty much all of the light that you see on his bodies, with the exception of the light on his hands coming from the orb itself, was just me brightening up specific spots in the image. And from an artistic standpoint, I think this picture is really cool. And from a technical standpoint, maybe not so much. Most photographers try to avoid grain like this in their images, but I think if it is serving a purpose, there's nothing wrong with it. And if you like grainy images and you want to see more like them, leave a comment down below letting me know, and leave a like, maybe consider subscribing. But this is going to bring us into the last image of the video. There were so many more that I really liked, but honestly, a lot of them just didn't work out. Either my focus was off, my shutter speed was off, there were people walking in and out of frame, but that's okay because we didn't walk away empty-handed. And I got this. I just think it's funny. I think this was hilarious. There's honestly not a lot of editing done to this picture. I just think the mind flare from Baldur's Gate 3 with the sign is very funny. I saw this guy standing here. It made me laugh. So I got the picture and I wanted to share it with you guys. And that pretty much concludes my Gen Con photography journey. But again, I just had so much fun at the con. While I'm there, I actually get to volunteer and run games. So I spent about 20 hours this year running games for people. Specifically, the Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG, which I am a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And if you're gonna be at Gen Con next year, I'm gonna be there. So if you're a huge gamer nerd and you just wanna say hi or talk about nerd stuff, keep an eye out for me. And if you're a cosplayer, keep extra eye out for me next year. Because just like this year, I'm doing fully free photo sessions. And maybe next year you'll be able to appear in one of these videos. But everyone, that is going to be it from me this time. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, as always, goodbye forever.